Welcome all to Grow for 2010 from Weed Shop Winnie. Welcome all to Grow for 2010, episode 38. And of course, we have to keep going from our tents to what we have to put inside and figure out exactly if it's all the right equipment to make our plants grow together. So let's take a look. The cannabis tent components. So growing and using cannabis at home safely the Canadian way. Well, like I was saying about the tents, uh, this is a little bit different. Components, we all want to make sure the components are like certified to be in Canada, ULC or anything like that, UL, anything that's got like a safety to it. It's been because that's the stuff that is the right stuff to use. And if it's bought in Canada, it should be there. But there's nothing wrong with looking to make sure it's there. Just everything's up above board, not no junk from somewhere that's not safe. That's important, especially here in place where we don't want to start fires in our houses and stuff like that using the wrong equipment. So get going with the essential components checklist to maximize your harvest. Your tent build must account for critical artificial environmental factors. Yes, the standard perimeters for a 4x4 cannabis tent include. So now we know we're talking about a 4x4, and this equipment that we're talking about would be part of what goes in it. We start out with, of course, the light. It's at the top. It's an essential component for sure. 480 watt to 650 watt full spectrum LED. An example is the Samsung LM301H or the Bridgelux diodes to achieve a sweet spot ppfd of 700 to 900, whatever those micromoles per square meter per second during flower. That's the kind of, how would we say it? Engineering we don't have to do anymore. It's all been tested for us. That's why these things grow cannabis. So now you know the wattage for that 4x4 tent. That's awesome. Next is on the checklist, ventilation. A 4-inch or 6-inch EC inline duct fan paired with a refillable carbon filter. Wow. Wow. That's good. This is non-negotiable for scrubbing odors and preventing mold. Of course. Now, what's the difference between 4 and 6? 4 is when it's a short distance to outside. 6 is when a long distance from outside. Because you need a bigger fan to push further down a pipe to exhale. If you're shorter distance, then just go with a 4-inch. If it's like 2 feet, 3 feet, that's not much duct. She's going to really push a little 4-inch fan. But try going 10 feet with it. It's not the same. Or 20 even. So that's the big important part with those two. And it does prevent mold. And yes, no more smell. Everybody's happy. Okay, Another part on the checklist is climate control. This is very important. This is a why? Because you'll see if you can have an understanding of what the climate's like, you'll know what the plant's going to be subjected to, why it's not growing right. Because look, think about it. You need a Wi-Fi Bluetooth controller that pairs with your smartphone to monitor and adjust temperature and humidity in real time. That's well said right there. Beep beep beep. I know it's not fun being a farmer, but beep 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 means you're going to stay on top of it. And the garden's going to be happier for it. That's the best thing. Maybe we didn't have that kind of stuff in the past. Kind of let things go. Now you're on, farmer. Next. Okay, another essential component, air circulation. 2 to 4 oscillating clip fans to prevent stagnant air and powdery mildew on dense canopies. Of course. The only reason is how many plants. If you're filling it, it's going to be 4. If you're putting half as many plants in, it's going to be 2. That's kind of what the difference is. It depends. Some people like to pack the tents, and that's when there's going to need to be different angles of air being introduced around to keep everything flowing. But if it's only 2 plants and you're just basically one on one side, one on the other, it's pretty easy to deal with them with 2 fans. So yes, that's a very good idea, and it's a very big component of keeping them happy. So now the biggest thing in the checklist is keeping your tent climate dialed in to prevent stress and maximize bud density. You should strictly monitor the following environmental parameters using a smart hygrometer. So, you know just as well as I do that any kind of advice you can use is to say to yourself, if I can be educated by what I introduce into the tent or the environment, the grow environment, the better off I am. A hygrometer tells you the humidity inside. So it's awesome. It's good to have a good one. Like that's, it could be one that tells you too what it is in the tent, or it could be tied into maybe that system that sends it to you. I don't know, but the hygrometer's got to be a good one, so it keeps telling you accurately the humidity in the tent. Now on the recap for essential components checklist, big one, grow light. You know the size now, but that's a big one. How it's going to be mounted, how everything, that's just things. Just remember, you start with that one. Then ventilation. Oh, am I going to go far or short or whatever? Climate control, so you know through your smartphone or through whatever what's going on inside. And of course, air circulation, making sure that there's a similar environment to outdoors when it comes to giving the plants that airflow through them like they would be outside. So it's never wrong. You just got to know if there's not as many plants, not as many fans. That easy. Keep growing and being one with your medicine because you're going to be better off for it. And you know it. We'll see you on the next one. Peace. Frog Father says it's bong break time, bong break time, bong break time, bong break time. Everybody enjoy your bong break time. Welcome to Cannas and Patios Garden Report. And of course, as you guys know, we've got one little plant, but it's outside. Let's start with when we started it. And there it is, A15, the Auto CBD Critical Mass from City Seeds. And of course, right now, we are at the end of July. So it started on May the 30th and then was in soil June the 3rd and then got put into its pot outside on the June the 14th. And here's what it started out as. There's the little A15. Sometime in June, that's what it looked like. There's another shot. And now, end of July. And there it is. That's one shot. The flowers are all right there. She's ready to take it in, the sun. And here's another angle. Look at that bulk. They're just bulking up. The flowers are just bulking up. Well, that's it for the Cannas and Patios report. As always, keep growing. And Weed Shop Winnie says, see you on the next one.